Welcome back into the Birdland Network, where we talk all things Baltimore Orioles and Major League Baseball. And today I'm back with a fun video as I count down my top 10 unbreakable Major League Baseball record. From 10 down to 1, we're going to talk about the 10 that I feel are not breakable. Just nobody's going to get there. They're unreachable. And before we get there, though, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's free. Just hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And if you could, give us a thumbs up on the video. So let's get started. Number 10 for me is Ichiro Suzuki's 262 hits in 2004. Just an incredible mark that I don't think in today's game anybody's going to even get close to this record. The next closest in the last 90 years was Ichiro himself in 2001 when he had 242 hits. It's just an incredible record. He was just amazing at the beginning of his career, and I just think this record has absolutely no shot at being broken. But it is number 10 on the list because the ones ahead of it I definitely feel are that much harder to get to. So number 10, Ichiro's 262 hits in 2004. Number 9 on the list, we're going to go back to 1982, and it's Rickey Hender's 130 steals in a season. Now look, he's the all-time stolen base champ with over 1,400 steals in his career. That record may not ever be broken either. Who knows? But the 130 steals in 1982 in the season is just incredible, and I don't think that record has any chance of getting broken. In the last 20 years, the closest person to even get near this record was Jacoby Ellsbury in 2009 when he had 70 steals. And even then, he's still 60 off the record. Steals are on the rise, don't get me wrong. They are back a little bit with the bigger bases, with the disengagements and the pitch clock. It kind of helps these base runners to steal bases, but I still think that's a mark that's going to be almost impossible, if not impossible, to reach. And not only that, in today's game, batting averages and on-base percentages are down, but you can't steal if you don't get on base. So that kind of plays into it as well. So number 9, Rickey Henderson's 130 steals in 1982. Number 8, we're going to go all the way back to 1930, and it's Hack Wilson's 191 RBIs. Just an incredible mark. Think about that, 191 RBIs. It seemed like every time he came up in an RBI opportunity, he came through. Just an incredible record. In just the last 20 years alone, the closest person has been A-Rod, who in 2007 had 156 RBIs. And that's still 35 off the mark. So I think Hack Wilson's record of 191 RBIs is pretty safe. I mean, you'd have to go on an incredible tear of just being clutch in the big situations to beat this record, and I just don't see that happening. Number 7 on the list could easily be number 1, because I think this one, probably of all of them, is going to be the hardest to do. But I put it at 7 because the ones ahead of it are just amazing. And it's got to be Johnny Vandermeer's consecutive no-hitters. So in 1938, on June 11th, he pitched a no-hitter against the Boston Braves. And then 4 days later, Vandermeer came back against the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he no-hit them. So back-to-back no-hitters. It hasn't happened since, I think it was this year or last year, somebody pitched a no-hitter, and then the next start they got to like 5 innings of no-hit ball. And I think that might be one of the closest anybody's gotten since then. But Johnny Vandermeer, 1938, back-to-back no-hitters, just an incredible feat, and that's one that I just don't think will ever be broken. Number 6 on the list for me, we're going to go back to 2004, and it's Barry Bonds' 232 walks in the season. That's just an incredible mark, 232 walks. He had 617 plate appearances that year, and he walked 232 times. He had 135 hits in that season, so he had more walks, almost double the walks that he had hits. He hit 45 home runs with 101 RBIs, so it wasn't even his big season. But 232 walks, which helped to give his average of 362 such the high mark that he had. I mean, I think he had a 609 on-base percentage that season. Just an incredible mark. But 232 walks in a season. Nobody else has even come close. The next two highest all-time are 198 and 177, and they belong to Bonds. Next on the list after those two would be Babe Ruth in 1923 with 170 walks. So 232 walks. He was such a feared hitter during that stretch that he was just being walked all the time, sometimes with the bases loaded. Just an incredible fear the league had in Barry Bonds hitting during that time. And that's why, for me, number 6, Barry Bonds is 232 walks in 2004. Number 5 for me is Nolan Ryan's 5,714 career strikeouts. What a mark. That's just an incredible amount of strikeouts in a career. The next closest to him is Randy Johnson, who has 4,875. He's almost 1,000 behind him. That's how incredible and how dominant of a pitcher Nolan Ryan was when it comes to striking batters out. Just an incredible mark. You'd have to pitch 300 strikeouts in a season at least 10 times or more and be consistent from there to even get close to this record. There's just no way that's going to happen. In today's game, even though strikeouts are up, innings are down for pitchers. They don't pitch anywhere near as long as they used to. They don't gather and accumulate as many innings as they used to. So this mark is never going to be broken. 5,714 strikeouts for Nolan Ryan. That's why it's number 5. Number 4 on the list is Pete Rose's all-time hits record of 4,256. Just an incredible mark that I don't think with today's game will even be approached by any hitter in the game today. Just an incredible mark. I mean, he passed Ty Cobb, who had 4,189 hits, and it was just an incredible feat by Pete Rose to beat this record. Nobody else is even close to coming to this record, and it's not going to happen. In today's game, with all the specializations and days off and things of that nature, it's just not going to happen. I mean, Pete Rose had over 200 hits like for 15 seasons or more, and guys today just don't even get the 200 hits, let alone on a regular basis to be able to come and approach this record. So for me, number 4, 4,256 lifetime base hits for Pete Rose is not ever going to get broken, in my opinion. Now, number 3 on the list, we're going to go back to 1941, and it's Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Now, look, anybody can go on a tear, and anybody can get on a roll and have a streak where they're getting a base hit in consecutive games. I get it, but this record is so hard to do. 56 games. Just think about that. Wee Willie Keeler in 1896 had 45-game hitting streak. Of course, Pete Rose in 1978 had a 44-game hitting streak. Paul Molitor in 1987 had a 39-game hitting streak. And I think next closest would be Jimmy Rollins, who's the most recent guy who had a 38-game hitting streak. But even that, at 38 games, you're still 18 games off the record. So I just don't see how anybody can do this in today's game. It's so hard. You just don't see those types of hitting streaks ever. I think there are some guys that have been in the 20s, but nowhere near close to the 56-game hitting streak, and I just don't ever see it happening. It's just an amazing record. And think about this. From what I remember and what I've heard, when he went 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 that stopped that 56-game hitting streak, the next day he started another 17-game hitting streak. So imagine if he had gotten that one hit, we would be looking at a 70-something game hitting streak. But at 56, I still think it's unbreakable. So we've gotten to our final 2, our number 2 and our number 1. These 2, I guarantee you, will never be broken, ever. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, neither one of these will be broken. But let's start, obviously, with number 2, and that's Cy Young's 511 lifetime wins. Just not ever going to be approached. Today's game is not about wins. Pitchers don't get wins. They don't complete games anymore. They don't pitch long into games. They don't get a lot of innings. So they're not going to get a lot of decisions on games. Guys, it's very rare that guys even win 20 games anymore, let alone 30 games, which Cy Young did several times. It's just not ever going to be approached. It's not even going to get, nobody's even going to get within 200 of this record moving forward. That's just my opinion. I don't even know if we'll have another 300-game winner, let alone a 500-game winner. I mean, the next person on the list is the great Walter Johnson, who has 417 wins. He's almost 100 behind Cy Young, and I don't even think anybody's going to approach Walter Johnson's record of 417. So I think Cy Young's record of 511 wins, never going to be broken, but it's number 2 on the list because the next one is just incredible. So number 1 on my list is a record that I guarantee you will never, ever be broken. And I think for many people, when this person broke the record, they didn't think it would ever be broken, but then he broke it. And of course, that's Cal Ripken's 2,632 consecutive games. Now, he broke Lou Gehrig's, what everybody thought was unbreakable record of 2,130 when Ripken played in 21-31. Well, not only did he beat Lou Gehrig's record, he played another 500 games consecutive after that to get to 26-32. Absolutely no way anybody breaks this record. Nobody's even going to get within 1,000 games, maybe not even within 1,500 games of this consecutive games played record. Nobody. It's just not. It's not done today, guys. Take days off. It's a long season. It's just not going to happen. Ripken did this for almost 15 straight seasons. He didn't miss a game. There was like the first 10 years he didn't even miss an inning. It was unbelievable. It's such a record that just will never be broken. Call me a homer if you want. Yes, I'm an Orioles fan, but this record stands alone, and it speaks for itself. 2,632 consecutive games played. The hardest and most unbreakable Major League Baseball record, in my opinion. So there you have it, folks. My top 10 most unbreakable Major League Baseball records. Now it's out to you guys. Let me know in the comments. What records do you think are unbreakable? Do you agree with some of mine? Not agree with it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you've gotten this far, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for sticking in there. If you could, please consider subscribing to the channel as we do Major League Baseball videos, live streams of Orioles baseball games. We do Hall of Fame profile videos on Thursdays and Fridays, which are fantastic. It's a good way to learn about the old players that are in the Hall of Fame that you may have never heard of. And other than that, just thanks for subscribing, hitting that bell notification, and for liking on this video. And until next time, keep rooting for the O's or your team, and take care of yourselves and each other.